Enjoy the game.
Right, welcome to this top 5 units video. So we're looking at the Orks. Codex is just out. Big Codex now, loads of unit options, so many options to go for now with the Orks. But I'm going to give you my top 5 at the moment. I realise there's loads of contenders, but I've played a number of games with the Orks now using the new Codex, and some units have excelled and done very well indeed. So I've arranged them into 5 units here. Check out each of these. If you agree or disagree, I want to change the order of what I've chosen, introduce other units in that should be in the top 5, then feel free to do that. Check out the comment section, see what people are saying. But there's so many options now for the Orks, and I think a lot of good units and a pretty good Codex as well for the Orks. Quite subtle in a way, but when you start stacking up combos for the Orks, you can come up with some great unit combinations for sure. But the top 5 units here for the Orks. Okay, just a case of going in reverse order, so I'm going to do number 5 first, and then go all the way through to my top choice here for Orks. So, at number 5 is a fast attack option. Fast attack now, so important for 9th edition. You've got to move out immediately. I think in a game it's an uphill struggle when you delay moving out, or if you're pushed back and held back for a couple of turns, it's hard to recover from that because of the need to secure and pick up points of primary objectives. So fast attack is important. Orks have got so many options now for fast attack. They've got loads. You've got vehicles, squigs, bikers, loads and loads of options here. But what I've chosen at number 5 is Deathcopters here. So a good few things have changed now with Deathcopters. Here's 2 of them, which is illegal. You need to have 3 now at minimum. It's units of 3 to 6 in size. These are the older models here. Games Workshop have since resculpted the Deathcopters as pictured here. Beautiful job. So really good work from them, but still the older models, I think from the Black Reach set from years ago. Still brilliant. Brilliant kit. Quite hard to pick up. So Games Workshop have resculpted Deathcopters here. Now, with these, you've got a fast attack option. They're quite reasonable in points for what you get. Number of reasons for taking them, which we'll cover here. I think you're looking at 50 points each for these. Yeah, 50 points a time. That includes all the weaponry that's on them, so it's flat 50 points. If you're going to take a big bomb, the options for that is 1 in every 3 models can take a big bomb. So you can go up to 6 of them, so you could have 2 in the squad. And we'll cover the rules for those in just a moment. Just for 5 points, could be useful enough. Now with Deathcopters then, 14-inch move first of all, so you're off to an excellent, I was going to say a flying start, but you're off to a really good start. 14 inches is brilliant speed across the battlefield. It's a very useful unit for moving out and providing firepower support. You can bring them out from round behind cover, get them in range nice and quick, swing out and grab an objective with them as well. So a very strong reason for taking Deathcopters. Then weapon skill 3+, that's worth bearing in mind that they can actually be pretty effective in close combat. Ballistic skill 5+, strength 4, toughness 5, 4 wounds each. So it's not too high amount of wounds for a little vehicle, but 4 wounds is good enough. And then 2 attacks base, leadership of 6, and then a 4-up armor save. Now what's really made these much better, I think, is the copter rockets. So that now it's changed to range 24, used to be assault, but it's now heavy, and it's 2d3 shots. You're looking at between 2 and 6 shots per model. So that's a lot of rocket shots here. This really has become as anti-tank in a big way, and anti-heavy infantry as well. Quite scary really, the number of shots. Now these come in at strength 8, so fantastic strength, 8 -2, which will bite through armour quite nicely. Damage 3, so very solid, very reliable amount of damage, and they've made it blast also. So if you are going against larger infantry targets, you've got the blast advantage there as well, to have the possibility of scoring more hits. So fantastic weapon. On its own, heavy 2d3 is pretty good, but if you start combining it with multiple models, you've got a unit of 3, a unit of 6. It's a ton of shots. Loads and loads of shots available from these. So that's really good. For every 3 models in the unit, 1 models copter rockets can be replaced with a custom Mega Blaster and one big bomb. So it looks like you have to take the custom Mega Blaster and the big bomb in combination. So that'll cost you 5 points to do it. Custom Mega Blaster, range 24, assault D3, strength 8, -3, D6 damage of that one. Any ones is a mortal wound, but quite comparable to the copter rockets. And then if you go for the big bomb, once per battle in your movement phase, after the bearer makes a normal move or advances, when it does advance, big red button, it's a guaranteed 6-inch move. So you've got a 20-inch move of these, guaranteed. So it should mean be able to fly over a target quite nicely. Fantastic movement on these things. You choose a point on the battlefield that the flyer moved across. You just pick out like an exact pinpoint. Roll a d6 for each unit within 3 inches. Subtract 1 if it's a character. For every 4+, it's d3 mortal wounds. And you can imagine if you had 2 bombs, it's double the chance of kicking out a load of mortal wounds. Nice sting in the tail with the Deathcopters. Now, that's all good. You do also another tactical flexible option here, swooping down during deployment. You can set up this unit high in the skies. It's a deep strike on you land, as long as you're more than 9 inches away from enemy units. So you can really ambush with these, drop them out of the sky and then let loose with a volley. So you've got tactical flexibility, speed, deadly firepower. What about close combat here? So what you've got going on is 2 attacks each, which is okay, but it's not that impressive. But if you go to spinning blades, you get +1 strength, so now you're fighting at strength 5. You're at AP -1, so just going to chip away at the armour, damage 1, but each time an attack is made with this weapon, make 3 hit rolls instead of 1. So you're now looking at 6 attacks each with the spinning blades, and again, a unit of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, it's tons of attacks coming through at good strength, strength 5, bit of AP -1, just chip away at the armour, and damage 1 coming through. So more than happy enough to hurl themselves into hordes and infantry and so on. So, and for 50 points each, I think they're an absolute bargain. Resculpt available here from Games Workshop, really nice job. All the older models are fine. I've a good number of these, but this is one of the units I really hope to feature quite prominently and in my new list. Only restriction is you have to take 3 at a minimum and then go up to 6, but for what you're getting, the firepower and so on, I still think it's well worth it. Now there's a few other things that you can do. I was looking through, so I would run these as Goths, as it's not really going to help with the firepower, but 6 is a pop extra at hits in close combat, which is fine, and on the charge they get another +1 strength. Yeah, so it's strength 6 on the charge, so that'll help them in close combat. I'd imagine that they will attract attention from the opponent. Now you can go for flyboys here. Each time a ranged attack targets a flyboy's unit, I think it's flyboy, Deathcopters, yeah. If the attacker is more than 6 inches away, then the unit with this ability is treated as having the benefits of light cover. So you're going to get +1 to your armour save, so you can go up to a 3-up armour save just to add to their durability. So that's something worth bearing in mind. I would tend to use mine as hide them away on turn 1, have them on the table straight away, swing them out for firepower support, but sort of hang around at the back or mid-table and stay away from close combat trouble, and just provide a bit of firepower throughout the earlier turns of the game, and then maybe swing in later on for mopping up duty in close combat, move out quickly and press on and use them that way. I think that's the way that I would play the Deathcopters, but I think a very, very useful unit and nicely priced at 50 points a time. So at a minimum I think I'll run 3, may run more, but that's my number 5, the 5th choice for the Orks, the Deathcopters. If you agree, let us know in the comment section. We'll move on to choice number 4 next. So at number 4 is Warboss, as per usual. Unnamed, so you can customise him. There's all sorts of combinations. I'd love to hear people's different ideas based on the new codex of him. It's Gut Ripper, who I run regularly in my Ork army. So HQ choice. There's a few little combinations I've got my eye on here. It may take a good few games of practice, and I realise that there's plenty of options to go for. I guess some of the extra bits that you can add on to him will apply to a number of other options here. For example, The War Boss in Mega Armor, beautiful model from Games Workshop with the grot with the gun on top, very very cool. Regular War Boss. You've also got there's some of the abilities you can give to the Death Killer War Trike. It's an unnamed. It's not a character or named character model, so you can customize him as well. You've got the Beast Boss. The Beast Boss on Squigosaur, which a very strong unit as well, so definitely mention him. But so there's all of those, and then you've got the War Boss on the bike as featured in the Forge World book as well. Dry Run model Zog also. But you think of all these abilities. We're going to focus in on this model here, but some of the extra abilities we're talking about you can add on to all these different varieties of War Bosses that are available. So as I said at the start, there's so many options now for the Orks. But I'm going to pick a regular War Boss here. We'll take a look at your stat line. Again, quite keenly priced in points. So with an Ork army, you can expect to have a pretty big army. So War Boss is down here. So you're looking at 90 points to start off with. So we'll check out the profile for that. It's quite simple what you can add on. So you can go for an attack squig, which is 5 points, and a power claw, which is 10 points to give to him. So War Boss, movement 5, weapon skill 2+, which is fantastic. Ballistic skill 5+, strength 6, toughness 6, 6 wounds. Brilliant, just brilliant number of wounds. 5 attacks as base, which again is superb. And we'll show you how to improve that. Leadership 8 and a 4+ save as base. They have incorporated the invuln save in him now. You don't have to use a stratagem like in the previous codex. So it's a 5+, which is way better than nothing, that's for sure. Be surprised at how many times you make a 5+ invuln save. So dead tough it's called. 5+ built-in invulnerable save. And then you've got the War Boss aura ability here. So friendly clan, core or character unit within 6 inches. Each time an attack or model in this unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit roll. Interesting, so +1 to the hit rolls now. That'll include himself, I believe. So that means that when he takes his power claw, it's -1 to the hit roll. That's cancelled out by his own ability here for the War Boss aura. So that is good news, taking the power claw. So power claw, times 2 strength. So you're looking at strength 12, incredible. AP -3, used to be D3, but it's now straight 2 damage, and then each time it's -1 to hit rolls, but that counts as up because of that. He's got, here we go, so you're re-rolling your charges with him as well. He's got the wire ability, which we'll check out in just a moment. So the standard loadout is a combi rocket, which is actually pretty good. It's -1 to hit roll if you go for both options, but you've got a shooter, range 18, Dakar 3 or 2, at longer range, strength 4, AP 0 and 1 damage. But the rocket's pretty good, D3 shots now of that, strength 8 -2 and 3 damage, and it's blast as well, so you can provide a little bit of firepower support if he can hit. Downside now with the rocket is it's heavy, so he's infantry, it will be -1 to hit rolls if he moves. So you got attack squig, if it's worth the 5 points, you get 2 additional attacks, strength 4 -1, 1 damage. So I pretty much have to take it. I mean, look, there's, I think it's Nasher, I think he's called, can't remember his name, to put the attack squig there, it's modelled on that model, so probably have to take it. But that's the attack squig, it's alright, it's not too bad. And then the power claw, so that's your standard option. I would run Gut Ripper as Goths, so I'm looking at +1 strength on the charge, so I think that becomes strength 13. Strength 6 times 2 and then +1 strength afterwards. Not going to make too much difference. And then as 6 is pop extra hits, which will suit him just nicely. 5 attacks, 6 is coming through pop extra hits, which is really good news, especially the power claw that he's equipped with. Now, we look at War Boss, which is a major ability being granted here. So, if your Warlord is a War Boss, so as I said, plenty of options. I've chosen this one here, but there's plenty of other ways to take a War Boss. Once per battle, in your command phase, you can call a War. So you've got to remember to do that and time it right. If you do so, that War Boss must be on the battlefield or embarked inside a transport vehicle. So you can be embarked. If your Warlord is a Speed Boss, once per battle in your command phase, you can instead call a Speed War. To do so, the Speed Boss must be on the battlefield. If your Warlord is Skullscar Fracker, and then a War and Speed War have 2 stages. First stage is active when the Warhammer Speed Warrior is called. The last is on the next command phase. Now, first stage then, stage 1, so called the War. Orks core and Orks character unit, so he's going to be great near boys, mega knobs, and so on. They can advance and charge, so excellent news, and it's an extra attack as well. This is very good. It really is good. So what you're looking at here is you're trying to, it's probably turn, it's hard to say, unless the opponent's come straight towards you, you're probably going to call it on turn 2, probably. So you manoeuvre out on turn 1, poised and ready to charge, declare the war, get out your transport vehicles or close in the range, make the advance move, and then charge in. Get the extra attack as well, so big reward with extra attacks coming through. Really going to suit things like Mega Knobs and Ork Boys. And then get stuck in. So the turn after that, you're still going to get an extra attack as well. It's super strong. Ork players, they must be loving this bonus here. So it's a major reason for taking a war boss. Huge reason for taking one. You wouldn't want to miss out on all those extra attacks. So, another strong reason for taking the war boss, just the buffs that he can grant. Now, what about the war boss himself? He's okay, but he's not too scary at this stage. Usually, as I've done it before, he's tried to go for a good combination to make him really good. He's already at Goths. I could play, I mean, you've got proper killie here for a warlord trait. +1 attacks, so you can go for 6 attacks, which is great. And each time he makes a melee attack, improve the arm penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. So his power claw is going to go TP -4, which is brilliant. It's going to bypass armor, so he's a real Primaris Marine killer. You've then got the Iron Gob available here. 2+ the consolidation phase is D3 mortal wounds on enemy unit, which is pretty good. And then I've got access to Unbridled Carnage. So for 2 CP, a bit expensive on him, but it'll give him 5+ his pop extra hits instead of 6. It's probably more worthwhile on a larger unit with more attacks, but that is an option. Proper kill is not too bad. Now, what about the standard options that are available? There's a couple of ways of improving things here. So, yeah, there's not too much in the way of stratagems, except they've kept the Orks is never beaten. So 2 CP, if you do happen to die, then before you're removed you get to fight, which is quite good, so you can go for like a kamikaze type charge, knowing that whatever happens, if interrupt play happens or whatever, then you will get to fight with that character, which is good news. But that's pretty much it. So the warlord trait that I've got my eye on here, and it will fit Gut Ripper like a glove, and that's this one, Arda's Nails. Each time an attack is made that targets this warlord, so shooting or close combat, it's -1 from the wound roll. That's huge. For example, he's toughness 6. You get Space Marines charging in against this warlord trait. They're going to be on 5s to wound, which is hard enough. But then if he's Arda's Nails, it's 6s to wound. It's going to make him super tough. Really is good. Or you get some strength 6 weapon hit him. It's going to be 5s to wound him. Strength 5 weaponry against him is going to be 6s to wound. So that's crazy stuff. So I'm liking the idea of Arda's Nails as a warlord trait. You've got Mice is Right as well, which is quite good. +1 to his strength and attacks characteristics. I'm trying to push up the attacks on him if possible. There is another way to improve attacks, and the way that I plan possibly to do it, and that's to use psychic powers. And this one here, Fists of Gork. It's a blessing, warp charge value of 6, very likely it's going to go off. If manifested, select one Ork's character model that's within 12 and visible to the Psyker until the start of the next psychic phase. It's going to last all the way through to the following turn. You get +2 strength, so that'll make him strength 14, which will be very useful against toughness 7 targets that give him the 2s to wound. And then if it's 11 or more, sorry, you get extra 2 attacks as well. So he'll be on 7 attacks. With a War, he'll be on 8 attacks. That's the combo we're after. And if it's 11 or more, you get +3 strength and 3 attacks on him. I think that's the way to do it. So just a bit of a psychic power to turn him into a nutcase. You could stick Warpath on him as well, give him an extra attack. But that'll take more psychic effort to do that. Then you've got relics, which I'm naturally drawn towards the yeah, if you're going for Beast Snagger, he can't, but there's options in the codex that you can. You get an extra attack with that, and a 5+ feel no pain, pretty good. But I'm liking the look of the Killer Claw, which they've kept ×2 strength. Straight away it's an AP -4, and it's a straight 3 damage. Now you've gone from damage 2 to damage 3, just makes me even more potent. No minus to the hit rolls either. So looking good. We've taken the Killer Claw, so that may be the combo that I go for. So what I'm thinking of here is the Killer Claw relic, Arda's Nails, Warlord trait, and then Fists of Gork psychic power. I know you've got a real killer in close combat. Pretty cheap in points, plus the buffs that he's kicking out. +1 to the hit rolls for core units that are nearby. I mean, that's huge. The units of Meganobs, for example, massive help to them. -1 to the hit rolls, down to 4s, he's near them. +1 to the hit rolls. It pushes them back up to 3+. That's massive, huge. I always struggle with Meganobs trying to get those hits. That's a massive improvement. And then when he declares a war, just the ability to cause the extra attacks is fantastic. The advance and charge is really strong. So there's a massive case here for continuing on, I think, for taking the war boss. But as I said, it could be any type of war boss here. These combinations that I'm talking about could be applied to any number of these characters. Again, there's so many options now for the Orks. Plenty of units available for them, and it's good fun. Customizing your own stuff for Orks it's been a major aspect of collecting them, a good fun part of collecting Orks for sure. But I'm going to go with the war boss, I reckon. It's Gut Ripper here, still potent enough when you start to stack up the extra abilities. So that's my choice number 4. Just be fascinated to hear your own war boss combinations, not just standard war boss, but any of the war boss options that are available. What combinations you go for, read that with interest, and share your ideas on what the best options are for the Ork war boss option. Okay, so moving on, I've put these quite high, perhaps quite controversial, but one of my higher choices. And again, there's plenty of other units that I don't have, so feel free to state other units that you think should be in the top 5 and whereabouts they should be. I don't have every Ork unit. Death Dreads, that might be one of the new units I'm painting up. I don't think it'll make the top 5, but that's one of the new units I'm just painting up for fun. I'd like to feature that. I think Ork Codex is strong. There's loads of good unit options for these. Loads of good options. But we'll go over to Elites here. I want to move on to Elites. And cover an option here. Yeah, it's back to Tankbusters again. And so, and just how to run them. Let's talk about how to run them here as well. So what we've got is a standard Ork boy loadout for these. Toughness 5 and so on. But for Tankbusters, the name gives away the reason why you're going to take them is for busting tanks. I'll give you an idea on points cost. So yeah, they're here. So they're 17 points a model. That's going to include the rocket built in, and the only other option to take points cost wise is the bomb squig for 5 points. So running a unit of 10 is going to cost you 170 points all in. It's quite expensive for Orks, but the reason why you're taking them is to destroy heavier targets. Not just tanks though, heavy infantry, monsters and so on will find themselves in trouble for sure against Tankbusters, but they are slightly better against vehicles. So there's a little bit of a problem and ways of countering it here. So what we've got is the rocket launcher, which has improved because you're now getting your D3 shots. So 10 D3 shots from a unit of 10 is ridiculous. It's loads of shots available. Strength 8, -2, and 3 damage. So very dangerous amount of damage that can come through against vehicles. It's a blast weapon as well, so very useful for firing against medium heavy infantry and so on. You blast to up the number of points that you get. Because it's D3 from each individual weapon, there's going to be times when you get 30 shots, which is scary enough. The downside is that it's heavy, so these are on the move. You're going to get -1 to hit rolls, so you're going to be hitting on 6s, which isn't too reliable. So sometimes it may well be the case that you need to manoeuvre these into position and then stay still, so that you're not having to pay the -1 to the hit rolls. So it may well be a unit that you need to move into position, set up, and then fire from a stationary position. That's doable if you get yourself in the right spot, move up quick enough. The way I plan to do that, I should bring the models in here, is to use trucks. So cheap truck, which is quite a durable unit actually, now with ramshackle. But it'll just protect these. It's an open top vehicle, so say you're going to take a unit of 10. These are my customised Tankbusters here, ones that I've built. So that's a unit of 8, but you could easily run a unit of 10. Put them inside the truck, and now you've got a 12-inch move vehicle that's going to protect the Tankbusters, keep them at a nice strength. The opponent's got to try and crack open the vehicle in order to get through to the Tankbusters, which again have improved in toughness. They're now toughness 5, so they'll be hard enough to wound as well. So the idea is you've got a nice mobile platform kicking out a ton of firepower. So if you can manoeuvre out quickly and then hold position, that'll give you your normal rate of firepower, so ballistic skill 5+. And then what you've got down here is tank hunters. Each time a model with this ability makes an attack that targets a vehicle, then it's +1 to the attack's hit rolls. If you are going after vehicles on the move, you're going to be on 5s to hit. If you're stationary, it's going to be 4s. Now with 10 D3 shots, you've got the potential to get a lot of hits coming through. And the scary part of Tankbusters is that damage 3, the high strength and the damage 3 when it comes through. The look on your opponent's face when they say, oh, what damage is that? And you say it's a straight 3. Yeah, and they've just failed 4 saves on their Predator. It's deadly stuff from the Tankbusters, so I still rate them very highly. But I think to run them, you must put them inside an open top transport vehicle, just to give them the mobility that they need, and also that vital protection, because if they start losing numbers, then the efficiency of their firepower will drop. There's clans that you can go for to help them out a little bit with firepower, and then what we're looking for is specialist mobs. Now you can go for boom boys with these, so each time boom boys model with a weapon with the blast ability improve the AP characteristic of that weapon by 1, so you can give them AP -3, which is okay. There's plenty of other good options to go for, so that might not be a priority for you, but if you really want to improve their AP, then you can go for AP -3 on them, which again will help reduce the chances of the opponent trying to block that damage from coming through. But Tankbusters are in. They're still scary enough here for sure, especially against vehicles. So good firepower support unit. Definitely want units that are going to be going for close combat, but a unit that can manoeuvre around and provide some firepower, not just against vehicles, but also against heavy infantry, monsters and so on as well. So Tankbusters at number 3. Okay, next we're going to stay within elites for option number 2. So this is second place. This might surprise some people, but I'm going to go through some combinations where I think this unit has received a massive improvement. It's the Mega Knobs. Plenty of reasons why these I think have improved, and I'm tempted to perhaps add more models to my unit. I've got a unit 4 at the moment. I have a few spare models that I could add in to make them a larger unit, because I think they've improved so much. Now, we'll go through some ideas here what you can do with Mega Knobs. First of all, yeah, they're fantastic models, just they look brilliant moving across the board. They're very intimidating, these huge clunking heaps of close combat killing ability. So you can go for up to 10 of them. It's movement of 5. So first of all, the movement's improved. I think they were movement 4 previously, so they can keep up with regular Ork units. That extra inch is more than welcome. 4 inches is very slow. I think Games Workshop are ironing out, getting rid of the sort of 4-inch moves on some of the slow units. They're up to 5. So Mega Knobs, the 35 points a time, that includes their standard weaponry. So that include the custom shooter and the power claw. So for 35 points, I think that's a bargain for the stat line that you get. Then the other options that you're paying for is if you're going to go for a kill saw, then it's 5 points. Do you have to kill saw? No. Yes. God, not sure about that. See, what are you getting here with the kill saw? I've modelled it in one of the models, kill saw car, but I've got doubts about the option now for the Mega Knobs. So what you've got is the kill saw. So you're equipped with a custom shooter and power claw. Any model's power claw can be replaced with a kill saw. Any model's custom shooter can be replaced with one kill saw. So to get the 2 kill saws, you've got to pay that 5 points twice. So you're looking at 10 points to give a weapon that it's probably not worth making the swap. The power claw is they're both times 2 strength. Power claw is AP -3, kill saw is AP -4, so it's a bit of improvement there. But then the kill saw's damage of D3 and the power claw's damage of 2. I would take the damage 2 as a reliable amount of damage coming through, so I'm preferring the regular power claw here. And then if you do take the 2 kill saws, which is going to cost you 10 points, well, the only benefit you get from that is an extra attack. I don't think it's worth it. So what I would say for the current build is just to take the standard the standard power claws. Yeah. Now there is another option though, Mega Knobs. So you can go for combi rockets, and I think that could well be worth it. And then you've got the combi scorcher. Combi Scorcher is here, so you can combine it with a shooter. If you fire both, it's -1 to hit rolls. The Scorcher's coming in at D6, range 12, assault D6, strength 5 -1. It's auto hits on the target. So you know, if you take enough of them, you really could saturate the target with hits coming through the Scorchers. It would cost you 10 points a time though, but it could be worth it. It's a good firewall of protection on Overwatch if the opponent's going to countercharge them. So I think it's a strong enough option. The one that I've got my eye on here is to take the combi rockets. Downside is, the upside with the rockets is you're getting D3 shots each. So unit of 5 D3 shots, bit of anti-tank, anti-monster, anti-vehicle, anti-heavy infantry options. Downside is that it's -1 to hit rolls if you move. They're more than likely to be moving all the time, so yeah, have to think about doing that one. But by the looks of it, standard loadout just at 35 points looks to be strong enough. And what you can do, instead of paying points to upgrade stuff, what you can do is use combinations and auras and bonuses, which you don't really pay for, to buff the unit instead. So that's another way around of improving them. And that's what we're going to take a look at now. Now the stat line for 35 points: movement 5, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 5+, strength 5, toughness 5, 3 wounds to try and get through, 3 attack space, which is great, leadership 7, and a 2+ save, which is really good. 2 up save, toughness 5, 3 wounds. Very tough and durable unit. Nightmare to try and deal with. If the opponent's going to try and bring them down, it's got to use heavy firepower to do it. So what we're looking for is to try and make these scary in close combat. The downside with the power claw is the -1 to the hit rolls. One way to counter that is to take the war boss, give him +1 to the hit rolls. And then the reason why it might be worth taking a large unit is I usually run a unit of 4. I might just up them to unit of 5. So it's going to be like 15 attacks. I'll run them as Goths. So 6 is a pop extra hit, so I should get a few extra hits with that. And then it's just again coming back to Goths. This is where it's worth running the stratagem. So I'm on +1 strength, so they're going to be on strength 10 on the charge times 2 strength, and then +1 after that, so it becomes strength 11. And then you're looking at 6 is popping extra hits. You can go for Unbridled Carnage. 5+ will pop extra hits. I think that'll be a strong option to take on those. You really want them to make an impact. So you activate that, double the number of extra hits coming through. That could be an idea that's well worth doing. They will cause, whatever they charge into, they're going to cause trouble. They will cause trouble. Vehicles, infantry of all types, monsters, characters, Meganobs slamming in, definitely going to cause trouble. So nice lot of attacks. You can pop extra hits coming through here, but then what to do about the -1 to hit rolls? Warboss is one option. Remember, a Warboss calling a wire as well, extra attack on the charge. Psychic powers, Warpath for example, give them an extra attack. Just load up these extra attacks just to make them crazy in close combat. So in fact, you could have a small unit of 4 and have a crazy amount of attacks coming through with them. And then what I'm looking for here is another improvement you can make here, which is not in the Crusade, it's around here. Yeah, it's the custom options here, specialist mobs. Yeah, it's here, it's called Big Crompers. So applies to all these units. Mega Armor Knobs. So it's Mega Armor Knobs. It must be, I'm just going to double check. Mega Armor and then Knobs. It must apply to those. So what you get is Big Crumpers. Crumping time. Each Big Crumpers model makes a melee attack. It's +1 to the attack's hit roll. So, well, hang on a second. This is ridiculous. So if you've got no Warboss nearby, then you can just take that, and that will counter the -1 to hit roll. So you can cancel it out and be back up to 3s, which is excellent. Always struggle in the previous codex. This is why these are in the top list here. So always struggle with in the previous codex of 4s to hit, which is not very reliable at all, which is probably get back up to 3s in any way possible. Then that was a better option. There was the banner which used to give you your +1 to hit rolls, but now you can easily just take this option here, the Big Crumpers, +1 to hit rolls. What I'm wondering here is +1 to the hit rolls, and then if you've got a Warboss nearby, if you get another +1 to hit rolls, could they be hitting on 2s? Let us know in the comment section. If that's the case, it's utterly ridiculous. So you've got that option there. So there's an option of adding on extra attacks through War, Psychic powers, and so on. Taking Goths, popping extra hits, stratagem to help them pop extra hits as well. Much more reliable with their hitting as well. Possibility of adding on some heavy weapons, which bring down tanks, which is ridiculous. And then there's one more improvement. Yeah, it's this one here. It's called Hit Armada 2 CP. It's for a Meganobs unit when it's selected to fight. It's +1 +1 damage. So you can make him damage 3, which is ridiculous. You've got the potential now to quite comfortably carve your way through a Baneblade in a round of close combat. If they're hitting that reliably, you can soup them up, then yeah, they could cut through that target quite comfortably for sure. And what you're doing is you're keeping your base number of points cost right down and just adding on bonuses you're not really paying for in points, just stacking them on top of the models. Yeah, declare a war, you're getting them +1 attack, and on the round after that, they'll still be on +1 attack as well. So I think Meganobs charging into the heart of the enemy, if you can deliver those into close combat, they're going to be scary enough. You probably run them in on a battle wagon or on a truck, transport them across the table, send them into close combat, and then just watch them cut through anything that they touch. They are that scary for sure. So big fan of the Meganobs. I think they've received a massive improvement now with the new codex through a number of combinations. All about combos here for the Orks, stacking up multiple abilities just to squeeze the most out of these units that you can. So Meganobs at number 2, scary unit. Right, so the final option, number 1. It's a little bit strange this is number 1, but I'm sure from an all-round point of view and for the improvements they've received, I think a number of Ork players should, I think, agree it's Ork boys. Now, they're not like Meganobs. Meganobs are tougher, meaner, deadlier with their attacks, but there's much to be said for Ork boys, for sure. So I'm going to put out, I need to change the bases. If you're going to change the bases and update them, these are the older bases. These need to go onto the newer 32mm. The way I do that, sort of a quicker way than having to rebase all the models, which is a tragedy. I just take clippers and trim off the bottom of the base here, the trim. And that leaves like a really flat base with all of my modelling work still done just there. Then I glue them straight on top of the new base, and then just remodel around the edge with sand and PVA glue, and then paint by hand carefully around the feet and so on. Spray the edge, cover the model up and respray the edge on the new base, and then just rework the highlighting and the flock and just blend the whole thing in. And that's the way of doing the bases without having to break the models off and completely redo all of your basing work. So that's the way I'll redo the basing on those, just to update them to the size that they should be. But boys are here, and you think, oh, Ork boys, but the opponent can underestimate them, and they've received some fantastic upgrades and improvements here. And with some of the combos that I've talked about, the Mega Nobs, the way of increasing the number of attacks can just amplify them, make them quite terrifying. So what you can go for here with Ork boys is up to 30 models, which is utterly ridiculous. The amount of attacks that you can, the amount of attacks is lunacy. So one of the big strengths of these is they're cheap. They're 9 points each. 9 points a time. Then you're paying for your upgrades, whether that's worth it or not. I usually keep mine cheap and just reap in the bonuses that you can just stack on top. So I just give a big chopper usually to the knob, which is quite useful. If you find yourself ploughing into Marines, you can just swing away and the opponent can't get through to them. They've got to kill all the other boys. As it is worth making the knob better if possible. So that's your points costs. Then your stat line. Really, it's the same as before. So you've movement 5, weapon skill 3 plus, ballistic skill 5 plus, strength 4. The big change is toughness 5. It seems quite subtle. You think, oh, toughness 5, it's not that much of a change, but it's huge. They're so much tougher now, and I guess it fits with what Orks are meant to be. They're meant to be this unhuman toughness with them, but toughness 5 is huge. You know, you're looking at bolters, bolt rifles, all of those strength 4 weaponry, all of a sudden in 5s to wound humble Ork boys. 1 wound each, 2 attacks as base, we'll come to that in a minute, 6 up saves. They are vulnerable here to taking damage, but just the volume of the number of models that you can take can absorb that damage quite nicely. The knob gets an extra attack and a wound as well, 2 wounds for him, and comes in at strength 5. So I just take the humble, big, keep saying humble, but big chopper. So big chopper's coming in at +2 strength, AP -1 and then 2 damage. It's quite a good weapon for swinging around, good for bringing down Primaris Marines. But there's other options. I mean, a popular option is obviously to take a Power Claw, so good choice to go for as well. Now, so what we're going to do here now is start amplifying these Ork boys. Base of 2 attacks. Now, the other improvements is the chopper. We've actually given it AP -1, which is excellent news. It's going to take a little bite off the opponent's armour, so there's more chance of failed save, so happily take that. And then each time the bearer fights, you get an extra shot or an extra attack with that weapon as well. So now, as standard, you don't have to charge or anything like that, but as standard, you're going to get an extra attack for taking the chopper. So I think it's a must to take that, especially now that with the shooter's Dakka's gone. 6 popping extra hits doesn't happen anymore, or extra shots. So I would definitely incline to take the chopper. You're going to get a slugger anyway, so you're going to get some kind of shooting with them anyway at range 12. But you're now looking at a squad of 10, with no upgrades, 30 attacks, always, whether they charge or not. So 3 attacks so far, and then you start to stack up on top of that. So first option is, we sort of covered this already, but to take the War Boss, go for the War on the charge, in which they turn an extra attack. Just big unit, another attack added on. So now you've got 4 attack space, so 40 attacks. On the second turn, they'll still get the extra attack as well, and still get the AP -1, and so on. So you've got that kind of bonus going on. Then another one is your Warpath, Psychic Power, extra attack, so you've got 5 attacks, which is 50 attacks for a 95, 50 attacks for a 95 or 90, yeah, a 90 point unit, yeah. This is why I put these in at number 1, because yes, they're cheap, and they may not have the deadliest weapons, but you start getting the volume of attacks, you're just going to blanket the opponent with wounds, no matter who they are, whether it's a tough character, a vehicle, whether it's hordes, heavy infantry, they're just going to succumb to the sheer number of saving throws required. And it's costing you, it's cheap, you know, the opponent could have a 250 point unit, you plunge in with a 15-20 orc boys and you just mince through them. So the other thing to improve them is your clan. Choice of clan, I go for Goths. 6s are going to pop me extra hits. I can play the stratagem on a large unit of boys, it's well worth doing. 5+s are going to pop auto extra hits as well, which is ridiculous. So for the sheer number of hits, orc boys I think are a great choice, and their durability is through numbers. So you've got the toughness 5 and there's loads of them, so the opponent's just overwhelmed. How am I going to bring down all of these models and try and wipe out whole squads? You know, try and wipe out a mob of 30 orc boys. It could be tough for any kind of unit to do that. So that's all those options there for orc boys. There's a tactical option, yeah, great for sitting on objectives and so on. A solid unit that the opponent's going to struggle to get through. My preference is probably still going to be to mechanise my orcs. So I'm going to run trucks and put smaller units of 10, 11, 12 inside those trucks and then deliver them across the board. So you've got a faster option for moving them across the table, and then disembark, charge, declare the war at the same time, and then go in for the assault, hopefully protecting the numbers of those orc boys as they go in. So that's the way I think I'll run them. The other option is to run them on foot, move them up the table. I use to jump psychic power to deep strike them into position. Is another option as well. That's the top 5. Put orcs at the top. I think some orc players will agree, others may disagree. It'd be interesting to hear feedback from orc players, especially your experienced orc players, the ones that are familiar with the new codex. Leave that in the comments section. And then it'll be interesting to hear changes in this order that you've put in. By all means, introduce other units that you think should be in the top 5. Leave a list of your own top 5. And then combos as well, so customizing units, other ways of improving units, and then as we mentioned earlier on, the war boss option with a regular orc war boss or the mega arm or the beast boss or whatever. Leave your own unique combination there. Things like relics, war traits, stratagems, clans, and so on. It'd be interesting to hear the different combinations that people have for that HQ choice. But that's my top 5 for the orcs. Very excited to step new codex. I think it's a massive improvement. Looks to be strong enough. Some deadly combinations for the orcs, and you can feel a vast army here which has the potential to really overwhelm the opponent, especially in close combat. So orcs are back with a bang here, and this is the top 5 unit video. Keep a look out for more in this series. Check out the others. I've done top 5 for a number of other factions already, Blood Angels, Thousand Sons and so on, all available. That's the video. Thanks for watching and tune in next time.